Hello, and welcome to The Fool and the Philosopher.
The Philosopher and the Fool.
So, Asian people.
Yeah.
What are they about?
Well, there's a continent that is in the eastern part of the world.
Sorry, I'm tired. This is like the fifth take. Okay, there's Asian people eating food and people watch it. What's this?
So there's a video, I think it's in Korea is most popular, where it's basically you get like a group of people, or maybe just one person, they have a setting of different foods, they're all fancy, and they just eat them in front of the camera. And that's
So it's like you're not eating alone or something, or?
I have no idea, or it's like, oh, they're eating food. I won't. No, like with video games, where like they play video games, you don't get play. Maybe it's like that with
That's
food.
torture with food. It's very different.
Well, I'm not sure why it's popular. It's just a thing. It was
Actually, with video games, it's torture as well.
It was
I don't
in the
get that.
YouTube Rewind.
Huh.
And it's just this thing, apparently a style of video that's very popular in Korea.
That is strange.
Yeah. No. Eating food. I'm not a fan of people eating food.
So let's straighten some stuff out from last episode.
Alright, yep.
So the quote was, when you cut a man's tongue out, well, roughly, when you cut a man's tongue out, you're not proving him a liar, you're just proving that you're afraid of what he has to say. That was the yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, in reference to YouTube silencing conspiracy theorists.
Yep.
And I want to say Universal Panacea, so that we can name this episode Universal Panacea, because I wanted it to be named the last one, but we didn't think of it in time.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really good name for an episode, because it's dumb, but it sounds like clever. And Panacea is really hard to spell, so good luck.
Ha! Fool, I speak into a microphone to spell complicated words.
Alright, well, we'll see. So yes, people watch people eat food, you say?
Yeah. I don't know if it's like ASMR, like there is ASMR videos as well of people eating food.
That sounds like...
But yeah.
Okay, see, for ASMR, right? A lot of people give it a bad rap, but I think they're watching their own videos. There's a huge range of videos. Some of it is basically just, I don't know what you call it.
People making noises at a mic.
Well, it's like, it's not quite it, but I almost want to say like, I don't know, like softcore pornography of a sort. Like, it's not quite there, but it's...
Well, it's...
But I think for the most part, there's some... Like, if you look at Dr. T, if you look at ASMR requests, if you look at... There's some... There's two people in particular. There's one that has like this Skyrim roleplay thing. I don't know her name, but she writes these incredibly detailed stories. And then there's this other guy that he like basically runs an insane asylum. I forget what his channel's called, and it's the most like he has videos like finding the perfect match, or like talking to you about the universe, or like the different people I am. It's like, I don't know, stuff like, it's like this really weird, like crazy, and he's this huge lore behind it. Like the guy's a storytelling master, from what I understand. I haven't listened.
Yeah, well,
I've only seen the match one.
I think
slightly.
there's two different forms of ASMR, like you're saying, and people bad rap. So there's the role-playing one, or like stories, and that's one form. And then a different one is like what you sort of call the soft.
Yeah,
the idea behind that is partly.
But there's more than that, because there's like people that don't do stories, but they like still do. Like there's this guy that flutters his fingers and stuff. Like that's just, you know, that's people that like the sound of fluttering fingers. Yeah. That's not a role play. And then there's like people that like watching the scene where Jerry repairs Woody in Toy Story, and that's like satisfaction.
That's like a satisfying thing, but a huge market for it is basically when you're a kid and younger, there's a lot of like, even you're sitting in a circle, like crisscross applesauce, you're sitting in the sharing circle. Sorry. And like just another kid's playing with your hair next to you.
Do people actually like saying crisscross applesauce?
I kind of do. You're saying cross-legged.
Monsters.
And then like another kid's playing with your hair. Like it's just that touching. It's that touching affection of just like a little kid being affectionate. Yeah, and that's also in some friends, and so I think some people are just seeking that out, that they don't have it because
personal attention is a lot.
They're just alone at home, sad.
But I think there's like
trying to get personal attention.
There's all sorts of stuff. There's like personal attention. There's satisfaction. I think there's even probably an appreciation of beauty to it. Like I think softcore pornography is a bit wrong. It's not quite the right way to put it. Yeah. It's more, I don't know. Like there's a lot of people that joke like, is it a sex thing or something? And these people, like, I don't think it's their. I think it's people that just see these videos and then you get more of the same videos because of the videos. Yeah, they just see what they see, and you get more of it because of like YouTube algorithms and stuff.
Yeah.
Algorithms and stuff. And and stuff. Okay, but funny thing is, people try to defend ASMR by saying like ASMR stands for audio sensory meridian response.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know if you know why it's called that.
Nope.
Okay. So audio sensory, pretty obvious. It's about sound and it's about your senses, right?
Yeah.
And response, it's like the tingling response that people get.
Yeah.
Meridian, the as I understand it, the guy who named it, he chose meridian because he thought it meant sex. It doesn't. It means like a dividing line, but or like a divided off area, I believe. But so that's not a good way to defend it, basically. And the name is nonsense, essentially.
Yeah.
But anyways, doesn't really do it for me, ASMR. Like I don't really get the tingles for the most part. I find it kind of relaxing, but not super. But if you want to get me like tingles and like
try to sell them something.
Try to sell me something in the sleaziest like scam artist way possible, and I will listen to you for like hours on end. Like Ty Lopez videos and the people that tried to imitate him. I love watching those things. Like they're just like, and in just a moment I'm going to tell you. Just wait and look. And some of them they're becoming like self-aware but still doing the thing. They're like, look, there's no easy way to work. You can't just get a course. You're gonna have to work hard and stuff. But my course will teach you how to work
harder.
And in just a moment, okay, I'm going to give you 3 free tips from my 7-step course, right? And in just a moment, you're going to hear these. And so I wonder if you could combine that market some. I don't know how. Maybe I'm the only person in the world that would. I don't even know if I'd enjoy it, but maybe I'm the only person in the world that can do it. Where I have. I also like there's a guy. I forget. It's like Number File or something. It's the channel name. And it's like mathematicians doing this stuff, and then there's this. They met with this guy who's like specializes in like scam artist stuff, and he was showing like the razzle dazzle scheme or scam, and it's like this mathematical scam to like take people's money basically, and it's like just watching someone try to scam you, like, all right, you got to pay 2, and look, you got these things, like. I mean, that stuff's just I don't know.
Have you not been able to speak a lot recently?
Why am I just mumbling?
You're just talking a lot.
Oh,
very fast and like trying to you're vomiting words.
I don't know. I'm just talking.
Yeah.
I'm tired, so I need to relax,
hype yourself,
unwind a bit,
hype yourself up.
Well, no, it's just I unwind by talking. I think slightly, to some extent. But it takes a bit of inertia to get me going. But then the inertia is there, and I can't stop.
Words.
Well, no, I just can't stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like scam, right? I like scams. I like it when people try to sell me something. Like Ty Lopez, I don't think it's a scam. I just think it's a bit overblown for what he's giving you, but it's probably not a scam. Like none of those things are
Cameron,
scams.
He's giving you knowledge.
Yeah, he's giving you knowledge.
Yeah.
Like that's never a scam. And he it's probably decent advice. It's just not. You could probably find it somewhere else for cheaper or free. But maybe he's arranged it in a way that works for you. So I'm not going to knock it. And in just a moment, I'm going to give you some of the advice I learned from him. And it's like first time I had this experience of like, and I never knew other people felt like this weird tingling thing because this frisson is called. And some people get it from music. I have rarely. Music, like really powerful music, tends to make me like well up and cry a bit. So does like talking about like really emotional scenes in movies and books for some reason, or like mostly fight scenes. I don't know why, but they make me tear up a bit, But from like the epicness or something. But
video game trailers with epic music. The movie trailers with epic music. That's
Civilization video game trailers. That's it. None of the other ones come close. Civilization does the best trailers by far.
They do.
But it was like a frisson, yeah. So first time I experienced it was I was in daycare, and this kid came to me. He's like, "You want coffee?" And I was like, "Okay." And so he got out like this plastic cup. Oh, I'm just getting like almost to just remember it. He's like got out of this plastic cup, and and then he put some like plastic ice cream in it, and then he's like, and then you put in the coffee, and then you put in the cream and the hot, and then the ice cream, and then you put like the pickle on him. He was just grabbing every food toy he could find, basically. And then he gave it to, and I don't know, something about that. And like the game, we used to play this game called, what was it even called? Like those wooden dolls that you can like pose in Skyrim. What are they called?
Mannequins.
Yeah. So we played like this game called Mannequin or something, where you would just like
stand still and have someone else pose you, and you had to stay in the position.
Yeah.
Try to be as still as possible.
Yeah, and they'd like make you pick your nose and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I never played that game.
Oh, it's great.
I just guessed. Maybe I've seen it, but I don't remember it.
Okay, it's great. But yeah, so we do that. You bounce stuff on people's head and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's good stuff. And I don't know, something about that as well. Like, and just when people try to, like, or it's like those dieting tips, like this one weird tip. If you actually click on those videos, you get like this 50-minute video where they don't tell you anything, and it's great. They just go on.
15 minutes of nothing.
I don't know what it is.
15 minutes. Nothing.
It's like, I used to think it's when someone really believes in something that is obviously untrue. Like conspiracy theorists as well. I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's like almost adorable. Like these people trying to scam me, or like that believe nonsense. Like, I don't know. And okay, conspiracy theorists don't all believe nonsense. Some conspiracies exist. But I don't know, something about it. When someone really believes in something, and I'm like, they just like with the core of their being believe he's making me coffee because he's like 3 and he has no idea what he's doing, and I'm just like, oh. Or like this guy's like, in just a moment, and I'm like, he really believes that he's going to lie, like he's selling this to me or something, or that he believes in his product or something.
This advice will change your life.
Yeah.
Take these 3 lessons, apply them every single day, do them each day, and you can be a millionaire like me.
Yeah.
Just pay me.
Well, yours doesn't quite work for me because you had a bit too many clickbait things in there. I need it to be a bit softer than that. I need it to be like, you know, it starts with like, let's face it, you're fat.
Let's face it, you're broke.
Yeah, let's face it, you're broke.
Look, let's face it, you have a dead-end job, you're
No. That's too much. They don't know me. They don't know me. They say, look, they go like this. All right, just a moment. I'm going to show you here, right, how to make $1,000. Sitting down. I'm going to do it live. All right, tune in just a moment. All right, here we go. So I'm going to just doing Bitcoin trading, right? I'm going to make $1,000 in 2 hours, and I'm going to show you how, okay? It's great. It's easy. I'm just going to show you. You're just going to watch in just a moment. And then, after that, I'm going to give a link, and only the first 500 people that get it, I'm going to give them a link for my new book, which is coming out on how to do Bitcoin trading, right? It's going to be wired to, it's going to be given to, through, like, you know, the internet, so it'll be fine as PDF. You can download that, you can read that, and you will be able to make money just like me. Some of my students have made like $1 million, but look, you're not going to be a millionaire overnight. This takes practice, it takes work. You're going to have to work at it. I can't guarantee results, but the people that try, and every single one of them has tried, has made at least $1,000 a month at this thing. All right, so there's 12 tips in the book. I'm going to give you 3 of them in my stream. Right, so here, like, you know, and then have you ever considered a career being a scammer? It's so good. I don't know what it is. There's just something about them, like, believing in themselves, and I can't do it like that good. Some of these people can like ramble for like half an hour, and they're so fun.
Yeah, you can only go for about 15 minutes.
Oh, I can rant, just not about that. Like, I can't do it well for that long. Yeah.
You are listening to The Fool and the Philosopher.
So, thing I wanted to talk about a few days ago, is weird because, like, I had this prepared for the podcast.
Right, speaking of that, just hold that in mind, don't forget it. Connor wanted to do a podcast without me because we've been busy and I've been really busy. Like, can you believe him? He's trying to do a podcast without me? Like, jeez, what is... This isn't the Connor show. It's the Fool and the Philosopher.
It's the Cameron show.
You need 2 people, or at least me. You can't just... This is your show, so you need me. That's what we made a deal when this started that I didn't have to do any work because I didn't have time to do a podcast. And so I have no obligation to it. And Connor agreed to that deal, even if he doesn't remember making it.
No, I agreed to that deal.
Yeah. And so, but he can't do it without me. That's part 2 that we didn't say. It's because it's mine. Right. If I didn't, I'd explode without the. I don't know. No, you can't.
Right. But to go back to what I was saying.
Well, I want an apology. I want to. You tried.
No, I'm not going to apologize.
You tried to do a little cheeky under the counter half hour without me. I feel disrespected.
Well, I'm not apologizing because I didn't do it. I wasn't trying to do it. I was just trying to think of something.
Well, you didn't get my opinion. You were just like, oh, well, I'm gonna do.
Right. Can I continue, or should I just forget everything in my brain? Because I have 3 things prepared, which is 3 more than usual.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say 3 more than me, and I was gonna laugh. All
No.
right, continue.
All right. So I wanted to talk about something, and then I didn't say anything because the conversation just came up around the dinner table, and our mom was talking about it, and I was like, "What? I was going to talk about that later." And it was about
Canadian citizenship.
just citizenship test in general.
Australian. Blimey, what a terrible winter we're having, by the way, hey?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious me, I think I saw a wombat fall out of a tree. It was frozen stiff at work.
Yep.
Ooh,
You need.
Ooh, it was frozen like this.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
It's fine. It'll keep recording. We just have to hope.
Pray. What's it doing?
It's buffering because your computer's too wimpy.
You take that back. Alright, anyways, I'm sure that's fine.
Yeah, it's all fine.
Yeah. If we sound like... No one's listening.
I'll recover what I can.
Alright. Wombats?
More on that in the future, no one's listening. But, so, the Canadians... The citizenship, just like they're talking about Canadian citizenship anyways.
Yeah.
But citizenship, where people are like, oh, I don't think, like, I'm a citizen of this country, I can't pass citizenship.
Yeah.
Or whatever, and they're saying, and people are like, oh, you don't care for a country, like, these people who are immigrating have to do so much work to get the citizenship test, you couldn't even pass it. So, there's two things to that.
Yeah.
One, if you look at a very recent video by Dave Boy and the band, at the time this is around, he was talking
We're
about...
actually neighbors with Dave.
He's talking about the UK citizenship test.
God bless UK, America.
And he was saying it actually just has a lot of flaws, like it has a very useful test. And the person who wrote it didn't do a great job. And so that could be a problem with citizenship tests, is they just weren't written very well, like the person didn't put much effort. But another thing is if you're a part of that country already, you don't have to pass the citizenship test. The citizenship test is hard because you're proving that you know and want to be in this country so much that you're going to put work into figuring out about this country, and
you're proving you're a better citizen than the people that live there.
Yeah, well, those people are naturally a citizen. Like, you are already a citizen of somewhere else. You have to prove that you are going to be a citizen in this place and a good citizen. And a part of that is putting work into knowing about the country.
I do think our mom had a good point, though, that the questions should be more useful rather than factoids.
Yeah, well,
it's kind of like how the SAT changed from being these really weird factual questions to more
that's another thing, is they haven't updated how it's done. They're like the old IQ tests,
the old SAT more.
Yeah,
the IQ tests have been fairly good. I mean, they get better, but
I'm saying they're like the old ones. It's more like if you can drive if you drive a state
in
where
a straight line, what states would you pass through?
Not 500 kilometers out.
Yeah, what states would you pass through, and and then a modern question is a village has no water. What method would you use to make sure they got clean drinking water?
Yeah, so like the Australian, you could go with citizenship is who was the 5th Australian Prime Minister or whatever.
What's a waddle? What can you do with it?
Yeah.
Where can you put it?
Mm-hmm. Or how do you feel about wombats?
Yeah. Or
although another problem to that is, for the citizenship test, they partly just want to do quick screening so they can go, okay, you got right, you got wrong. Tests like that require markers to put a lot more time into marking it.
Well, I have a choice that was better. You could have something what would you do for the country if you entered? A, support improve the economy by your contribution. B, be an outstanding member of a pillar of community. C, burn and loot all the buildings. Or D, poison the water supply. And then, if anyone...
Ha! He answered A. We're a society of anarchists! The fool! The answer is C!
Yeah, you can really weed them out that way.
Society of anarchists.
Yeah, if anyone circles, poison the water supply, you instantly don't want them in your country.
Yeah.
And... Okay, maybe I don't know. It's hard. That's why they're like that, I guess.
There's a lot more to citizen, also gain citizen, than just doing a citizenship
maybe
test.
The question. Maybe it should just be a bit. Maybe the test isn't what you need exactly. Maybe it should be a bit more along. Well, I guess the thing is, right? You get raised up in a culture and you learn some basic things about your country. Like Canadians like maple syrup, Americans like burgers, French like baguettes. Yeah. You know,
French Canadians like I don't know.
Who knows? But
cheese.
No, that's more the French, I think. I don't know. Maybe all French are like that.
Yeah.
But you sort of you have these things that you take with you, and so maybe just knowing those, And so I can see why you'd be like, yeah, most people when they grow up they learn who the prime minister is, or most people learn I don't know what the the biggest event was or something like about this war, like Agincourt. Like you got to know about Agincourt if you're British or
Agincourt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But the one with the horses.
Yeah.
And the arrows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one. And in my textbook, they had like little horses from chess or something with like I don't know what it's about. But
no, you're thinking of Age of Empires, the
no.
chess thing.
No, they actually had like little chess things with arrows in them, I believe.
Huh.
Yeah, but it's been a while. I can't remember. But yeah, so I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah, like just citizenship tests though are like partly like they're like someone from the country who has them like could like do okay at them, but they don't have to. They're already in that country. It's to prove that you want to be somewhere else.
You could do a lot better when you were in like elementary school or something.
Oh yeah,
like when you're learning this stuff like first around.
Yeah, well, actually, more like grade 8 or whatever. That's when they really teach you.
When you're in 8th grade or primary school or whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
Or in like
11th grade, even.
First year,
Yeah. Well, you're in school. You forget all your schooling.
Yeah. I'm just trying to say all the different nationalities' ways of describing grades. And years and that sort of thing. Because they're quite specific regionally.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right. Yeah, okay. That was number one.
Okay, another one. This is, I don't know, I find it irksome.
Yeah.
Is, pets, right? Like you were saying dogs are on the way out or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a problem, not with the pets, but with the owners of pets. And I found this, I watched some videos about this guy who owns 2 Siberian Huskies.
Yeah.
And he actually does this really, he plays pranks on his dogs or just interacts with them and does these really, it's a thing, it's a video thing that's, you, just put subtitles for your pets.
Yeah.
So, what they sort of look like they're saying. It can be funny.
Yeah.
But when they make
humor.
When they make the animal call them dad or mum or something, I hate that. I hate when people, they're like, oh, I'm the parent of my pet or whatever.
I think...
I really don't like that name where it's like, Dad, what are you doing? The person's just poking the dog. It's like, Dad, what are you doing? It's like, no, it's not Dad. It's...
Well, you know what I think? I think it's their life, and being strongly opinionated about something like that is doesn't really matter in the slightest.
No, it does matter.
Because...
It's not right.
Because, if someone butters their bread a certain way, who are you to decide or care? You can't dictate someone else's life for them. You can't complain about someone's breathing style.
It's like calling your boyfriend daddy. It's wrong.
No, it's like saying your neighbor breathes funny and you when you never interact with him or something. It's like that person across the road breathes wrong. Or no, it's not even that. It's even more removed than that because that might be slightly annoying. It's you go out of your way to find a video on the internet and you see someone and you're like, come look, here, watch this. Look, watch all 500 of this person's videos. They breathe weird.
Right.
Or do it wrong.
I actually do a thing on YouTube, which is I prune my history. I delete things and stuff from it. Because I'll want to watch maybe one Family Guy video, it's recommended. It's oh, that looks funny. So I click on that one thing, and then hordes of Family Guy clips get recommended to me. And I'm no, I don't want these always recommended. And so I have to X it out. And so I'm trying to prune my history so my recommendations are actually things I would want to be recommended than these just random things where oh, I watched 5 of these videos and now it thinks I'm in love with them. This type of video.
And you just have to keep clicking on them because there's no other option.
No, I want it. The algorithm actually can recommend videos that you're interested in. It's just sometimes when I go on a tangent of things I'm interested in on a whimsy, and then it's okay, I've seen enough of these, I don't need to see anymore, but it keeps wants to ram it in my throat.
And then I don't know what to passively consume anymore because I don't want to see these things. I don't like anything in the recommendation. And
it's the recommendation
then I have a bunch
is
of free time and it scares me.
I have no free time.
Yes, because you're too busy watching everything in the recommended videos.
No, it's not.
Then why do you care what's in the recommended videos?
Because I use it as a tool.
For what?
For the things showing me stuff that I could and be interested in.
Yes, and so you're just... See, if you're not seeking it, you're passively consuming it.
No, I'm using it as a search tool because maybe I don't know what I want to look at. But I can find it through that.
But maybe you've already found enough and then you have more time.
Look, If I want to do something else, I'll do something else. I do what I want. I am not
I think you're
controlled by some algorithm or someone else's whim. I do what I want to do. I am not at the whim of other people. I am under control of my own damn destiny.
Sounds like what you're complaining about is that YouTube is controlling your mind.
No, it's trying to, and I don't want to, and so I say no.
But is it trying to? Like, how does suggesting videos to you try to do anything?
Because they got pretty thumbnails.
It's like when people say, like...
They have pretty thumbnails.
These ads are, like, teaching us this or something. Like, do you take all your deep lessons from advertising?
No, I am trying to find something just to watch because I want to watch. At that moment, no, stop right there. At that moment, I'm like, okay, for these next 2 hours,
yes,
I am going to watch videos
and you
on
have
YouTube.
no time.
No, I'm saying I have no spare time because I fill all my time with stuff.
If only there were some...
No, I try to make it so I have no spare time. I always have stuff to do. That's what my
Why
goal
would
is.
you want spare time?
I don't want spare time. I'm trying to get rid of all...
Why don't you want spare time?
Because then I'm not doing something and I'll just die and wither up and turn grey.
So you live off of adrenaline is what you're saying.
I'm going to die at a heart attack at 35.
So you're saying you live solely on adrenaline.
Yes.
And you need to constantly... You don't want any moment of silence to retrospect on yourself.
No, I will go, okay, I'm going to have an hour of silence and I'll do that. But that's not spare time. That is me saying, okay, I'm going to have an hour of meditation or an hour of self-reflect, or I'm just going to relax for a bit. I fill everything up.
That doesn't seem healthy. I don't like the way you live your life. I think you should change it.
Well, it's my life!
Yeah, but it's affecting my enjoyment of my own life.
How?
Because I know about it now.
And how does that affect you?
I don't know. How's
you're jealous?
How's the people with calling their dogs, making their dogs call them daddy?
Because they're taking away the agency of their dogs. They're deciding what their dogs say.
And you're deciding what you do for yourself, and it's taking away my agency.
No, it's my agency. It's the dogs get their own agency, and they're taking
Pretty
it
sure
away.
It's unhealthy to plan out every aspect of your life. You need time to sit back and just reflect on things and relax.
I do that.
No. You need time to not plan.
Well, it's
you
not
can't plan for a time where you're not going to plan.
It's not like I'm going to go, okay, at 5 o'clock I'm going to do this, at 7 o'clock I'm going to do this, at 6 o'clock. No, it's like, alright, I'm done this now, what am I going to do next? Okay, I'm going to do this for this amount of time.
Did you know the normal American household consumes 70 kilograms of television a year?
70 kilograms of television is a useless measurement.
And you're contributing. That's in pounds, that's like...
You can't consume kilograms of internet or videos.
That's like 600 yards. That's like 2 football fields.
How much does an electron weigh?
Like 3 milliliters.
Okay, now you're just doing useless stuff.
But it's like a... I'm trying to think of really archaic units of measurement. But
Reset OS.
Like, that's like 6 slugs.
That's like 6 stones.
No, I think slugs. There was imperial physics for a while, and they're absolutely absurd. Like, they use slugs instead of newtons.
Yeah, slug of force, right?
And they have much weirder ones. Like, what's the weirdest one? It's like some incredible. It's like the amount of force possessed by an electron if it's pressing against this material at
noon.
It's like this incredible, and it's like has a specific unit name, and it's very silly. All right, so basically, you've devoted your life to YouTube, and and it makes you angry because you spend the whole time watching dog videos.
Sure, well, that'll be a takeaway.
I think that's what I was hearing, if I'm listening correctly.
Okay.
And it makes me sad and disappointed, and
it just slightly annoys me that happens.
Yes, and it just shakes my core to...
Even, like, in actual people as well. Like, not just on YouTube where people say that.
And AI dictates your life.
AI does not dictate my life. I am using a tool that is useful.
You poor, sad, miserable little man.
That is, like, the most condescending, self-righteous, disgusting sort of thing people can say.
So I tell you, I unsubscribe from all my YouTube stuff, and I only watch 5 YouTube videos a day at maximum.
Yeah, no, you're like a vegan of the internet.
I like to think of myself as like a what do you call those like when in the United States when they banned alcohol, what were those the Christian church women's movement? I'm like a Puritan. Yeah, I'm like I derive pleasure from abstaining from pleasures.
So you're like a vegan of the internet. Like one, all right. So the first thing, like, is a reasonable part, right? Like vegans, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to have like the toxins or stuff in their diet, like the vegan organics, right?
Yeah.
They don't want toxins.
I don't want an AI dictating my life.
No. That's not that.
Oh, hold.
No, it's all fine.
Continue.
Yeah, but so you're like, all right. I don't like people stealing my data. I don't want like people like, oh, I should like recommend this. So you're like, okay, I'll use DuckDuckGo or Brave, right?
Yeah.
So that's like the healthy organic thing.
Don't use Brave. Brave is an offshoot of Chromium, and it still doesn't.
Alright.
It doesn't respect your
Alright.
data. Open source.
Alright, so
I only use Pale Moon or Tor Onion browser, but Tor Onion browser's got has.
Anyways, shut up,
the
you stupid
government.
vegan.
So I actually prefer to simply use direct IP pings and then just imagine what the websites would be like.
Okay, yeah. So anyways, and then you're like, oh,
See, watch, this is how you do it. Okay, you go.
No.
I'll just tell you. It's easy. You just go like this, and then you go ping, and then you give a website. Let's say www.facebook.com, right? And then we're pinging it with 32 bits of data, and that's how I use the internet.
All right.
So what you have to do is you have to press Windows R, and then you have to press CMD, and then you just type in ping, and then your favorite website, and then you just get back how long it takes to ping them, and it takes 770 milliseconds because Australian internet, man.
All right. Anyways, so and then there's your like, oh, you use the recommended, like you just waste time watching, like you poor little sad man. And that's like, I don't eat meat. You're eating meat. You're killing yourself by eating meat. And then there's your even thirder of just, I don't know, like, oh, I only watch 5 videos of YouTube a day. It's like, I only eat 5 milligrams of lightly toasted rice cracker a day. Or
I can't
whatever.
eat rice because of intolerances to gluten.
Whatever. I'm just saying, you're an internet vegan.
And those of you that think there's not gluten in rice, there is gluten in rice. It's a different kind.
Yes, and some people are allergic to some.
Only the best gluten intolerant people recognize the other glutens rather than wheat gluten and rye gluten.
Do you know why people are like, oh yeah, you're a vegan, or like they don't like vegans? It's the same thing with your internet purity.
Because they're jealous.
No, you know why people hated Puritans? Like, oh, he doesn't drink alcohol. Oh, he doesn't have fun. He
Because
doesn't
it makes
gamble.
them recognize their own failings.
No, it's because those people are so self-righteous.
Well, it's hard not to be self-righteous when you're right, you know?
Anyways, third topic.
Yes. Before you continue. Yes, in case you can't tell, we're using a different microphone and computer and software because Connor was too busy watching recommended videos, and so he didn't plan to have an episode ready, so we have to use mine because his stuff is elsewhere.
Yes.
Because those recommended videos, he's sworn his life to them.
Yep. Call to recommended videos.
Yeah.
Man,
Don't join Connor's call, join mine.
What's the panacea to these videos? It's only watch 5 a day? And...
The truth. The truth is the universal panacea, honey. You have to admit you have a problem.
Okay.
And then you have to deny you have a problem. And then you have to be angry about it. And only then can you look at the divine sandwich instead of the moon.
Right. So, third thing is someone downloaded one of the podcasts. The one right before the one about bread. So the very first proper Fool and Philosopher, but it's been downloaded off a podcast site.
Ew.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those because I haven't uploaded beyond that.
I feel dirty. I'm on someone else's computer.
Yes, Kevin, your voice is now forever trapped in someone else's hard drive. Even if they delete it, little bits of data that you don't delete, even when you think you delete them, are forever there.
I don't know if I like that. That's weird.
Well, you're also in servers as well. Like, you're in 3 different servers.
Oh, well, if we're on YouTube, who knows how many like different ones are spread across.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Just something about that feels very personal and weird. I don't like it. Like, ew.
Well, too bad. Because it's my podcast. You're the one talking, so I get to choose what I do with your speech.
Well, that's cool. Hopefully they enjoy.
Yeah.
for my own gratification, not theirs. I don't really care from
I
on their
don't
end.
care about them.
Well, why should I care about them?
It's all about me.
Well, yeah. Like, why should I care about them?
They haven't given us money.
Yeah, like, why should I care about them?
Like, once they start giving us money, then maybe.
Why should I care about them if they give me money? As long as, like, as long as...
Yeah, I hope you never become a celebrity.
What do you mean? Like, why should I care about them?
Well, actually, I have a question for you. So
No, answer mine. Why should I care about them?
I have no idea why.
Why do people say I love you or all this? Like, who cares about people that listen to their ideas? Like, I enjoy engaging with people. So if you leave comments or like send emails to us or something, then I care about you because I'm interested in what you have to think. But if you're just listening to what we have to say, I really don't care about you. I'm not saying I dislike you. I just don't care. Like, why should I? You shouldn't care about me. Like, beyond the fact that my ideas might, spark things. Like, I find there's authors I respect, I guess. So if you're an author I respect listening, then I care about you, I guess. I care about what you have to think. And so you should care about me, but I don't have to care about you. Peasants.
Yeah, so what's your opinion about, like, oh, this person's didn't show up to, like, grace their fans with signatures. They don't care about the fan base that made them famous. Like, they're scum of the earth. Like,
yeah, I agree. Like, anyone that calls themselves a fan is the scum of the earth. Like, why have they devoted...
What is that called? That's
why have they tied their identity?
That's a 180? It's actually a thing you do in comedy. It's like a turnaround.
I don't know.
Chris Malakaran did a video about that, like doing those things, like when talking to people, like you start with a lead, and you start with a sympathetic lead, or you just start with the expected lead, and then you flip it to the exact opposite. It's a really useful tool.
I think it's made my joke a lot funnier too, explaining it. So that's.
I know it makes it less. I was just like, oh, he did that. Hey, I recognize that.
But yeah. Yeah, I think, like, if you tie up a lot of your identity in, like, someone else, I don't know. Like, if I say, I enjoy Tolkien and that is my life, I don't know, it's, like, I need to get a life.
I enjoy the Bible, that is my life.
Yeah, or, like, anything. I don't know. Like, I think even, like, a philosophy, well, I don't know. Yeah, like, even a philosophy, there's a lot, life has so many dimensions. Like,
do your own thing, you lazy coot.
Like, life is massive, right?
Yeah.
And, like...
And it's expanding and expanding.
It's like there's so many dimensions to life. Like, okay, like the Pokemon thing where they show like the 5 stats of a Pokemon: attack, defense, special attack, and speed.
Yeah.
Special defense and speed. And like you see the little pentagram that shows the dimensions of a Pokemon. Like, you'd have to have billions of dimensions, and people would be all these spiky, weird shapes of it. Like, even your philosophy or your religion or your ideology can't fully define you. And so, if you call yourself like a Satanist or like a Pratchett fan or like I don't know,
or like what are our cultists called? A sandwichist?
The Enlightened.
The Enlightened. Are you sure you want that? Like, are you one of the Enlightened?
Have you walked the infinite stair?
I don't think Enlightened's the best. We need some stupid thing.
No, because I think we espouse for the most part Enlightenment values and
we need like some stupid name for them, like peasants or
no, I think they should
army
be one of the
or whatever.
No, they should be one of the Enlightened.
Okay.
Yes. No, but
and what's your sorry? Keep.
But
going,
yes, if you call yourself one of the Enlightened, like you're a bit of a loser, aren't you? Like if you identify yourself with this podcast, like,
oh man, if you identify yourself with this podcast, buddy, I don't know how you're doing it. Like you must click on the video, then download it or something with a torrenting website, so it doesn't register like it's getting views or anything. So like you're doing a weird thing already because like I can look at the metadata. So and then like devote yourself after that. That's strange.
But like. And that's no insult. It's just like, well, it is an insult. Like, calling out someone a loser is a pretty big insult. But, like, you are a loser. Like, and I don't mean that if you enjoy this stuff. I think this is very interesting stuff. I mean it if you...
I mean, if it wasn't interesting, I wouldn't be saying it.
If your identity... Okay, look, here's... When I was in 2015...
Yeah.
Other people were there with me. And...
I wasn't.
You weren't...
I missed that year. My clone took over. I was in a time loop.
So, in 2015, I was... I don't know. I was variably unhappy, or not even unhappy, just
unhealthy,
unemotioned. I was depressed. I've talked about it before, of course, And I found this like forum where everyone's very friendly and stuff, and I spent a lot of time there. And when I went down, I was like, "Oh man, they're down!" And everyone's like, they went to this backup forum, but it wasn't as good. And we're like, "Oh man, it's down!" And we're like talking there, and I was like every day, checking it, and like I used to always check Facebook as well. That's another thing. And like you devote your life to this thing, and you're like engaged, and you're constantly talking and sharing ideas, and it's cool and stuff. But I mean, you're a bit of a loser, like. If you don't have more than that in your life, like if that one aspect disappears and your life crumbles, then you're a bit of a loser.
Yeah.
Like,
literally, you're losing stuff.
Well, more than that, you suck. Like,
you suck. You just suck. My name is Cameron Cotter.
I'm bringing back the old Cameron from like the first couple episodes.
Cameron, like, know the whole scam thing?
Yeah.
Right. So you're like scam videos. Face it. You suck. You are scum of the earth. If you consider yourself a fan of something, you have one defined feature, and there's nothing else in
that's
your
how
life.
you start. You don't start face it, you suck, because you don't know anything about them. But you say, if you consider yourself a fan,
if you have one defined feature in life that your life is devoted to,
if you have, I like that.
Then you're a loser.
Then you're a loser, yeah. And I have the universal panacea for you. And in just a moment, I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to... Okay, it starts with T, and in the next half hour, I will spell it out for you, one letter at a time, except for the last 3 letters, which you will have to buy. But it's a book that only costs $99.99. That's right. There's no zeros in there. That means it's a small number. And so it's really cheap, and that basically means it's free. And I'm not going to say where the period is in that, so where the decimal point is. So it could be any price as long as it has 4 nines. And
yeah, but
yeah,
that's the sort. But I
R
guess
is the next letter.
It's going to spell it. It's like Hangman, the solution.
You have no letters left.
Yeah, Cameron.
Yeah.
Like, imagine just like these people going to this temple, right? Mm-hmm. It's like some alien temple, and it has this like giant thing of Hangman, and it's like the meaning of light is written above, and then it's just a gang of Hangman.
That sounds like something Douglas Adams would have written. Like, man, I'm a hitchhiker. I have a towel. I am one of the towel devotees, and but like I don't know, like I think you can really respect someone.
Can I have a piece of paper pencil?
You can use the back, as long as you don't damage my pencil and don't get it like sweaty.
Yep. Anyways, continue.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I sound a bit
harsh.
Yeah. Well, no, not really. Just I think it's deserved.
Truthful.
No, I think like snooty or like
superior. You want the genteel, want the intelligentsia,
or more like I don't know, just someone that's kind of like, like better than you sort of thing. Like I don't want to megalomaniac sort of like
You don't want to project your superiority complex too much.
Well, it's just like I don't, take what I say with a
grain of salt. It's not a personal attack.
Well, depends on what you...
Don't destroy my pencil.
That's my pencil.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what you tell me, and then you start throwing it.
I just dropped it twice. It's fine. I'm back. Yeah, so just... I don't know. I don't even need to defend myself, really. It's just...
You want to cover all your bases so you don't feel like a complete jerk.
Well, no, I don't... See, for some reason, I care if people think I'm like a megalomaniac, but I might be. I don't know. If I say stuff like that, like... But I don't think I am, because that's a flaw.
You have to be careful of that sort of humor.
Yes, because
it becomes truth after a while.
Yeah, that's why you only should say that. Whoa, you owe me a $9.99. You can't just be spilling those secrets like that.
Oh, sorry.
There's Universal Panacea $9.99. Oh, but you actually have to put a dot in it because that's our emergency services number.
Yeah.
When we wouldn't want to.
Aren't all emergency service numbers 3 numbers?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think they are.
I don't know. I don't know much about out of the UK.
But what if like someone says like I'm a fan of like Philip DeFranco?
Yeah.
But they're not like devoted. I'm just like, oh, I'm a fan of his.
Well, no, I think you can be fans of people. I just think
I also like
If you-
glaze animal turds in glass.
like if you craft your identity around one aspect, then you're a very shallow person. Like if you say I'm a gamer or I'm a pianist or I'm
a human.
as long as those are descriptors,
I am human.
but not your whole, I guess it's okay. But if you think of everything in terms of something, like if you say as a gamer or as
a human, I believe that.
yeah, like if that's your identity, then you're limiting yourself. Like you're a sentient being. Or maybe you're not limiting yourself, but I think like even I don't know. You don't want to limit yourself.
Yeah.
Or you don't want to define yourself wholly because you're boundless, and if you put yourself in a box, then when you leave the box, then you think you're not acting within yourself.
Yeah.
Like if people think you're the person that always doesn't do something or does do something, and then you believe that and you don't go out of it, like let's say you're a Ubisoft fan, right? And then a new Assassin's Creed comes out, and you buy it and you don't enjoy it, but because you're a Ubisoft fan, so you have to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like then you've limited yourself.
Yeah, and then you're just destroying who you are.
Yeah, or let's be more realistic, like a CD Projekt Red or something. Like,
oh, burn!
I think Ubisoft makes games.
Oh, burn!
Oh no, they
Got him.
make fine enough games. It's just they need polish a lot of the time.
Yeah, and the company themselves is...
I don't know. The company seems okay. I mean, I'm not happy with what they did to Heroes of Might and Magic, but
Or Battle for Middle-earth.
that wasn't them. That was EA.
Yeah, sorry, I get the two companies mixed up.
They're very
because
different companies.
I dislike both of them so strongly, though.
See, if you identify yourself as a Ubisoft hater, and then Ubisoft makes this really great game that's really fair and good to the developers, like you can't just hate it because you hate Ubisoft. Like,
I'll judge everything upon merit, but I'll generalize because generalizing is easier to start with.
well, I don't know if you can judge everything on merit because, like,
There's too much merit.
Well, I doubt you can be that unbiased. Like, that's superhuman to be unbiased. Like, people have biases. Like you.
Oh, that's a new superhero, unbiased man.
Yeah, but they would seem insane. Like you would be like if someone didn't have biases, they might think murder's okay, or they might think, like it's who knows where our axioms begin. Like, what is our fundamental axiom that we all agree on? Like, food is good or something. Like, it's. And even like certain like
You're biased towards food because
Buddhists,
you need to eat it.
Well, the Buddhists don't even think like food is good. They think it's a thing to enslave us to earth, and like so like I think it's Buddhist to think that anyways. I could be wrong, but well, everything's so complicated. Like you normally are wrong. Like lightning, for example, I thought it moved down from the sky, and then I heard it moved up, and then I learned that it actually comes
move
down, and then it looks like it's moving up, but it is moving down.
Yeah, it's just stacking. It's like Tetris, but really, really, really fast.
But it looks like it's moving down. So and maybe that's not quite it either, and maybe no one actually knows because
it's just magic.
Because even like established physics and stuff is wrong, and sometimes math you can even do stuff that makes math wrong, and like you can make mathematical statements that are untrue and true at the same time. Like math breaks down, and even with the axioms that you've agreed to, so it's all there's no answer anyways. And so if you're unbiased, you would just I don't know.
You become a dog.
I think you need bias to survive. Almost like you almost need suffering to exist because like the suffering tells you what's wrong and what's right, or maybe you need pleasure to exist. I don't know. You need something though, otherwise you're just there, and
you're just looking at the recommended videos.
Yeah, and exactly.
You're listening to the Fool and the Philosopher.
Yeah, so we've talked a lot about your stuff.
Well, I have another one that I just remembered.
So let's talk about. Okay, no, go on.
So this was just like a fantasy.
I wish the name was Connor's episode instead.
This is a quick thing. So I thought of like a book. Like it's just no whole idea for a story, but it could be a setting, right?
Yeah.
So like the urban fantasy, like you get a detective wizard or arm-selling wizard or whatever.
Yeah.
Like some sort of wizard in like an urban fantasy. So you start with that setting, right? But then you take this urban wizard, so like magic's like sort of like secret people don't know about or whatever, or it's sort of there but people are like, I don't really want to think about it. And then you throw in zombie apocalypse or nuclear apocalypse, but you still have this wizard who was before the apocalypse who goes into it.
Right, so have you heard of the Felix Caster series?
Is that actually what happens?
It's an undead apocalypse, yes.
But are they like magic undead or is it like a virus undead?
It's like magic undead.
Okay, no, my thought was a necromancer, right?
Yeah.
Who he like brings back undead with his magic. Then there's a zombie apocalypse that's caused by some virus, and so they're actually not completely technically dead, so he actually can't control the zombies.
Right, so it's like a...
It's like a mixing of the two of like, and then you take it a step further and like you throw in some Left 4 Dead like mutation zombies in there, like you get some tanks and some witches and some chargers, like don't directly tear those, but just like some weird mutant zombies that's like science fiction-y. So you're like, it's science fiction, urban science fiction meets urban magic. And it's not like, oh, we can explain this zombie apocalypse through magic, like someone released a magic disease. It's like a whole nother thing, and then there's the magic.
You could probably mod Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead to do that fairly simply. There might even be a mod.
Yeah, I was just like, that. I felt like that could be like an interesting setting to explore.
Maybe. I think a lot of times when people talk about an interesting book idea, I don't know.
Just coming up with a D&D campaign.
Well, no, it's more like you don't need a book idea. Almost like just write a good book, like, or maybe that's.
Well, I'm just saying like an interesting setting. I don't know how else to put it. Like it's just a setting I thought of.
Yeah, maybe like, I don't know what you call that.
I don't.
Maybe there's like an exercise in world building, and it's a thing on its own, and it doesn't need a book.
Yeah, well, that's how I put myself to sleep. Is I world build.
Yeah, and I think that can be an art in itself, but. A lot of people say like this is a good idea for a book or something, but really you need so much more than one good idea or two or three. You need a good idea every sentence, right? Like,
yeah.
And I'm not saying I do that when I write.
It's what you need. It's what you aim for. That's the universal panacea of books.
No, the universal panacea of books is the truth.
It's the universal goal of books. Oh, that was the.
No. The greatest authors write the truth.
Ah.
Like I've had so many writing instructors, especially ones at UVic, which are terrible, right?
Yeah.
Because they say that writers are... Well, actually, I don't know if they said that. I don't want to slander. They might have not said that. I've had writing instructors who have said writers essentially lie. And it's a quote. Someone said that. Like, writers are liars.
But the best writers write the truth, and that's why Terry Pratchett's so good?
No. They don't say that. They just say writers are liars.
Yeah.
But I think the greatest writers do write the truth.
And that's why Terry Pratchett's so good.
Like, you read Terry Pratchett, you read Tolstoy, you read Erikson, you get these... They're writing the truth, and that's what makes it good, because you're like, when you read that, you're like, yeah.
That would happen.
No, you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not about the story, it's about the story.
It's not about the story, man, it's about the story, you know?
It's not about the plot, it's about...
It's about the friends you make along the way.
No, it's about the story. It's not about the plot, it's about the story.
Look, you keep leaving me like these things that have to lead, like you're trying to lead me, but you're so... I don't know, I can't, like, I'm not biting at what you're dropping, I'm biting something else.
Okay, so... A story is what happens. The plot is what happens, right?
Yeah.
So, Lord of the Rings, some short people throw a ring in a volcano.
Yeah.
And there's, like, this dude, and he tries to take it back. But the plot, but the story is the mighty king who is just and fair, and the story is people who can't do something and will try anyways, and the story is loyalty, and the story is hope in impossible odds, and the story is being unable to go on when the one you love has fallen, and the story is like friendship, and the story is like mistakes and personal biases, and that's the story.
There's a song in there.
That's truth. They like Tolkien wrote truth in there, and it's hidden under the plot, but it's in there, and that's the story. Mm-hmm. Like that's and like, you know, the plot isn't truth, but the story is truth. Like mythology is true, religion is true, but not what they say, but what they mean.
Yeah, man. Okay, I get you. I feel you. I feel ya. Yeah.
But you see what I'm.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get why you're laying down. I'm picking up what you're laying down. I get it, man.
Like, and that's the truth, and that's how you become. Like in my own story, I try to.
I don't get it.
You don't get it?
No, I do.
So
no, I get it.
in my own story, the truth. Well, you see, you don't write the truth in. Like this is what Stephen King pointed out in his book on writing, which is in the first draft, you don't put anything in. You just write the story because the truth is in you. And you will put it on the
And you
page.
just have to let it out like a beautiful butterfly.
No. You
It's
just
a
you
caterpillar, and you just have to.
No,
let it
because
go.
any story that is worth telling has the truth in it, and so you don't even need to put it in there. It's already there, and that's what Stephen Erickson talked about in his essay, where he said that like Ayn Rand wasn't writing a book; she was writing propaganda because she was writing her beliefs down, but she wasn't writing
a story.
She wasn't writing the truth. Like what she wrote might have been true, but she wasn't writing the truth. You can't.
The truth with a capital T.
No, the truth with italics. The truth.
No, it's the truth with a capital T is what you're doing.
No. The truth is the truth in italics. It's the truth.
I like the truth with a capital T.
No. That's the truth. That's like the official truth. That's the truth. No, this is the truth. This is the real truth. There's the truth, and then there's the truth, and then there's the
dictionary
truth.
at some point. There's got to be a capital T truth, just truth without capitalization, and then italicized truth.
Yeah.
And they're each going out a different definition.
Like the truth is the truth, man. Like.
Is it true that the truth is the truth?
Yeah. No, it's not true because the true is the plot, not the truth. Like the capital T truth is the plot. That's what happened. But what actually happened is the truth. In italics. And that's the truth. And so what she wrote was ideas, but she wasn't exploring. If you explore, then that's humans. But humans explore. Humans are fallible. They're wrong.
So Ayn Rand wasn't human.
No, her characters weren't humans because they knew what they were doing. But
They were automatons. Just doing
they
what
were
she wanted.
they were mouthpieces to some
Puppets.
extent. But look, I haven't read it, so I can't speak on it beyond what I've read about it, and I don't know if that's fair to her. So
Yeah, but
I'll leave it there on her.
Yeah, but zombie apocalypse wizards, eh?
I don't know. I don't know what to think of that idea. Like, I don't know what's gained. It's a juxtaposition. I saw an author. He did a story about he wrote a romance novel about a pterodactyl that attends a high school, and it's a juxtaposition, and everyone there was oohing and awing about how interesting it was. But that's not a story on its own.
Well, there's more story, but I don't want to bore you with the details because it's not very well written.
Well, but the world building aspect, I don't know which lens you look at it through. Maybe through this is the world I want to be in. And well, you don't never want to be in an apocalypse, but it's an escapism because
This is
then
a
your
world I want to work
responsibilities
with.
are gone. Yeah, and so
I want to see where it goes with the character. I want to see where it goes with a character who has some predefined things and something happened to his life, which is he's an apprentice and his master got
So
killed,
I think-
and then that happens.
I think
Basically, I want to see where it would go.
the best way to express world building might be video games, because then you can do I want to play a video game about this? Yeah.
I would want to play a video game about that.
Yeah, exactly. So I think
That's basically Vermintide if you play the Wizards.
and also a book you can be like, I want Harry Potter. It's like, what a world. You just want to explore that world, right?
Yeah.
And so I guess you're like
This is a thing I've thought about for less than an hour, so I was just like, that's cool if I want to see
what about a world where plants had one more leaf? That's my world building. Don't you want to explore that? No. So there is a value in a cool world building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Although one more leaf, 4-leaf clovers more often, and then man, that's a lot of luck.
You have to look for a 5-leaf clover.
But then the luck economy might crash. And,
yeah, and everyone's out of luck.
No, I'll say that off. Well, no, I hate the curiosity from it. But the American economy is soaring right now. Apparently, I just heard on the news, which is really great because we're American, and we can buy our own products for cheaper now. It's great, but
Hello, my name is Socrates, and you are listening to The Fool and the Philosopher. this next part is all about me, so I hope you enjoy.
Socrates, right?
Is this one of your written things?
I guess, like, so it's just his final speech. I don't know if I can... Yeah, here it is.
Socrates' final speech.
Complete text.
Yes.
It's just... Alright, so here we have a picture
Of a nude guy in a bath towel
No, that's
with his finger straight up the air.
that's
He's
Socrates.
out to grab a goblet of poison, and everyone else
Okay,
is
so this
looking
is
away.
interesting, actually. Okay, look up the execution of Socrates or whatever, that photo, while
Yeah.
you're listening to this. So in the bottom left, you will see initials on a stone that Plato was sitting on. Mm-hmm. Now, Plato is the old guy, which doesn't really make sense because he would have been young during Socrates' death. But
This is what Plato looked like.
but this picture was done much later.
Yeah.
And I don't think Plato was even there.
Yeah.
And the guy in the back who's crying wasn't there. He was asked to leave, actually, because he was crying too much.
What's with the manacles on the floor?
Because Socrates is a prisoner, I believe.
Ah.
So if you look on the block that Plato was sitting on, however, you'll see initials there. That's the artist's initials.
Ah.
And so that means that I believe he identifies with Plato because the initials were in this type of painting were actually used quite. But if you look to the right of that, to the right of Socrates, even he's the guy pointing upwards, about to grab. Well, it's not sure if he's about to grab the cup or if he's giving it away.
Yeah.
There's a guy grabbing Socrates' leg,
Yeah.
and the block he's sitting on has the guy's entire signature. It's the little words near the bird or something, and that bird is like his signature.
Yeah.
And so this is what he considers to be the most important element of the scene. And I just find it fascinating that like where artists put signatures and stuff is what they want to draw your attention to.
No, art back then, like even art today, but art from the Renaissance, like
The amount
there's
of
not
detail and it's ridiculous.
there's not a wasted element. Like every single bit of it's relevant.
Yeah,
Like even the waving woman or man in the background.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
all of these
Each bit's a bit of
each person
symbolism.
here is a friend of Socrates.
Yeah.
Or someone that was influenced by him. I don't really remember them.
Yeah, and each one of their actions means something.
Yeah, like this guy, like the guy against the wall crying, he was so upset he had to leave.
Yeah.
Um,
The chains, I guess the chains are showing that he was a prisoner, but they let him go.
even the colors they show like the closest to the white of Socrates is Plato, and
Yeah.
Plato is the only calm person there because he understands Socrates' decision.
Yeah.
And Socrates is like a buff 70-year-old because I don't know, but but his speech is just amazing, and I don't know, it's not like short, but I just kind of want to go over it maybe if you're interested.
There are many reasons why I am not grieving, O men of Athens. At the vote of condemnation, I expected it, and only surprised
I'm
that
only surprised.
that the votes are so
nearly
nearly equal.
For I had thought that the majority against me would have been far larger, but now, maybe we should just summarize a bit.
Yeah.
Had 30 votes gone over to the other side, I should have been acquitted. And I may say, I think, that I have escaped Miletus. Not sure what that means.
Lettuce.
I may say more, for without the assistance of Antius and Lycon, and anyone may see that he would not have a fifth part of the votes, as the law requires, in which case he would have incurred a fine of 1,000 drachma. So he's basically saying that he's fairly happy that it wasn't unanimous to kill him, because that means that there's still people who are fighting for freedom of speech in Athens. So he says they sentence him to death, and he says that he was too honest a man to be to live. And
Reflection that I was really too much an honest man to be a politician and live.
And he sought to persuade every man among you that he must look to himself and seek virtue and wisdom before he looks to his private interests.
Look to the state before you look to the interest of the state. And this should be the order which he observes in all his actions.
Yeah, and let's see, where's like some
Real nuggets of... Oh. I think it's just you have to read the whole speech for yourself, really.
I don't know, I think it's like one of the greatest speeches of all time. So here is
For I am quite sure that wherever I go, there and here the young men will flock to me, and if I drive them away, their elders will drive me out of their request, and if it lets them come, their fathers and friends will drive me out for their sakes. So he's saying if he's banished, then
then he will be welcome nowhere. Because if he's not welcome in Athens, he's welcome nowhere. But he also says that young men will flock to him.
Yeah.
But he also says he gives a warning to them.
Yeah.
That he said, where he basically says that. Oh yeah, he was told that he wouldn't be executed if he just gave up philosophy.
Yeah. And
he said to them that the unexamined life is not worth living.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I'd rather die than not be able to talk about philosophy. Which is why I think like forced silence is. I agree with Socrates that forced silence makes your life not worth living, and I think what YouTube in a sense is doing is like they are.
For if I to tell you that to do as you say,
self-examination, and retrospection, and
it's that line up there. For if I to tell you that to do as you say would be disobedience to the gods, therefore I cannot hold my tongue. I will not believe that I am serious and say the daily is too wide. But he's basically saying that if I don't speak, then I'm being dishonest to the gods.
Yeah. So he also says, not much time will be gained in return for the evil name. So basically Athens is worried that he's destroying Athens.
Yeah.
And so he says to them, you won't gain much time because they will say that you killed Socrates, a wise man. For they will call me wise even though I am not wise. Mm-hmm. Although he said he was not wise, but he also said he was the wisest man in Athens because he's the only one that admits he doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
But he actually did this thing that it might have been the thing that actually got him killed, I'm not sure. But he did this thing where he went around to all the wisest people, like proclaimed wisest people in Athens and questioned them on things until they couldn't answer. And then he's like, well, then you're not wise. You don't know anything.
Yeah.
And he, like his Socratic irony and method was, it's just like, well, explain yourself then. Why are you so wise?
I've prepared my whole life to defend myself, and now I find there's no need.
So, but he basically says that when you kill him, you're going to get rid of an old man. But where does he say this? Here it is. So he gives a prophecy. He says that... me you have killed because you wanted to escape the accuser, and not to give an account of your lives. But that will not be as you suppose, far otherwise. For I say that there will be more accusers of you than there are now, accusers whom hitherto I have restrained. And as they are younger, they will be inconsiderate with you, and will be more offended at them. If you think that by killing men you can prevent someone from censoring your evil lives, you are mistaken. That is not a way of escape. That is... not a way of escape, which is either possible or honorable. The easiest and the noblest way is not disabling others, but improving yourselves. So he says to them that like he's pointing out an issue. Yeah. He's not attacking the state. He's saying the state needs to become strong. He's not trying to destroy the state. He's pointing out its weakness. And instead of addressing the weakness, they kill the person
saying the weakness.
That pointing out the weakness. And
the weakness is gone. No one's pointing it out anymore.
And he says there will be others that do it. And he was right. Athens collapsed. Yeah. And I think we have a case study of why free speech is so important here. And there are people to this day that still want to limit it. And it's amazing because this is, I think, like a great speech in defense of it. And also, we know the result of what happened. Mm-hmm. Athens was against free speech and against questioning the state. And they collapsed. They destroyed themselves.
Yeah.
And, Sparta...
beat the snot out of them.
Did they? I thought Sparta lost.
Nope, Sparta won in the end.
Oh, in the end.
Sparta got beaten up a lot, but then Sparta, because it had a better moral standing and better it's just a better society, they were strong and not fighting themselves. They were just dedicated to beating the ever-living snot out of Athens. And so they did it. Mm-hmm. And then they destroyed the trade league.
And he talks about the logic of no reason to fear death, which... I don't know if logic is ever enough to not fear death. But he basically says either you sleep forever, which is what's more peaceful than sleep, or there's nothingness, and then to that eternity is only a single night. Mm. And so, which is, I think most people think that nowadays anyways, but it's still, I don't know, logic doesn't cut it sometimes.
Yeah.
But he's... no evil can happen to a good man, either in life or after death. I like that as well.
What's the Apology by Plato?
It's a book he wrote, and this is in it. And Yeah, Socrates never wrote anything down because
Plato wrote
Socrates,
everything.
As we talked about before, Socrates was against writing.
Yeah.
And Plato is a great writer as well.
He's like one of the best written philosophers out there.
He's so easy to understand.
Yeah, no, it's kind of funny in my philosophy class. I've probably talked about this before, but it's just like reflecting on it now. People are like, oh, Plato's so hard to read. I think Plato was hard to read because of his concepts and like sort of what he's saying. Also his older writing. And then it's like, okay, yeah, I can actually read this. It's just hard to understand some of his ideas.
Yeah.
Then later on, it's like, oh my goodness, these people are just impossible to read. Like they are so bad at writing. It's just painfully boring to read them.
It's because...
And they can't get their ideas across. They have no communication with this.
I think it's like... So Romney, who's been on a few times...
Yeah.
He after our last one, which is up now, I believe.
Yep.
That we talked with him.
It was not the last one. It's two before that, actually.
So he... we talked about it and he agreed with us during it. But then a couple weeks later, he sent me a message and he said he disagreed with a lot of the points that we had said. Mm-hmm. And so he wrote me this very long letter of all the points he disagreed with and why. Mm-hmm. And I sent him one back explaining my position on each of those points. And he said, he didn't necessarily say I convinced him, but he said, your argument makes a lot more sense now and it's a lot stronger the way you've written it. And I can't think of any reason to argue with it right now because I haven't thought about these ideas enough. Mm-hmm. And I think for people that have, if they have listened to all the podcasts, my arguments would make a lot more sense when I was talking to Romney. Mm-hmm. But to express yourself is so difficult, and so these philosophers are trying to figure out what they actually want to say, and writing it down is very hard. And so it's kind of a miracle when someone can write it in very clearly and concisely. Yeah. Like I think Marcus Aurelius, like, he did a very good job of writing very clear and concisely what he wanted. I think even someone like, this isn't philosophy, but like someone like Sun Tzu is his name, right?
Sun Tzu?
Maybe? I'm confused after we got that translated Japanese one that explained his name's different than I thought or something. But the general, anyways, who wrote Art of War, I believe it's called. Is it called The Art of War?
Yeah, Art of War.
Like, his ideas are very basic, but it's like he distilled everything a good general should do to actually the spoken word.
Simple.
And expressing yourself syntactically is, I think that's the term, is very difficult to like actually express yourself in words in a clear and understandable and unambiguous manner.
Yeah, well, a thing I found, which, I mean, I also got a ton of help. I'm not going to say that like I got a ton of help, but with my philosophy essays in my philosophy class, people were shocked at how well I did for mark-wise, because like he was a harsh marker with their philosophy essays. Right. And I always got a pretty high mark.
Oh, hold still. Just, there you go. You don't have to pat your back for yourself. I got you.
I'm not trying to do that. What I'm saying is why I think I did well is I would write out all of my ideas, like my whole essay, and then I rewrote them over and over again. Like I wrote the first idea down, and then so instead of trying to fix that, I was like, okay, this is my idea. I'm going to rewrite it now. Okay, it's rewritten now. This is what I want to actually say. I'm going to rewrite it. And I did that for both of them, and then I had someone else rewrite it for me. Basically, like, well, not rewrite for me, but help me write it again so it was even clearer. So it wasn't just in my head.
Well, it's funny because when you look at like a lot of modern philosophy stuff, it was already expressed in like ancient Greek philosophy, and that was already expressed in like you know, Sumerian mythology, and that was probably expressed before then in like stories and stuff that they just oral tradition. But we still try to figure it out to this day, because even though we figured it out, we're not sure what we figured out. We just know we did.
Yep.
I
wasn't trying to... I never try to pat myself on the shoulder.
Yes.
I'm just trying to like... I was trying to talk about your point of like them being like hard to read. And then like a part of it's like it's so hard to explain your ideas, and like you're working through it as you write it. And so basically like a huge part of it is like even talking, like, oh, I'm talking, and then you're like, okay, actually no, I don't believe that anymore. Like I've been saying this stuff and I said that wrong. I don't actually like follow that line. This is more how I feel. But you've already said those words, so it could confuse a person. So you're exploring it, and so when you're writing it, you're exploring it, and then like your first draft of writing an essay on philosophy is you're exploring the idea. Then you actually have to write down the actual stuff that isn't just a meandering exploration.
Yeah, and I think some ideas are so complicated that even after that, like, you don't get it because it's tricky, and that's what Maps of Meaning is about, sort of, that we use our stories to do that. And Jordan Peterson, if you've seen his arguments with Sam Harris, he basically thinks we can't abandon the stories and go straight to philosophy because it's too complicated.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's right, but the stories definitely do. So the stories definitely do help.
Mm-hmm.
And
even the stories of Socrates, like his last letter or whatever, written by Plato, his last speech, that helps.
And that might not even be a true story because people have questioned it because Plato wrote it years after.
Yeah,
but
even
the
message is still there.
The
that
message
Plato
is
wrote.
still true. Like the it's still
The idea is still real, even if the event is not.
Yeah, and yeah, it's well, they say Sapphire's speech is the greatest speech never told, but if that was never told, then I don't know. I think it's probably a contender. And William I shouldn't just reference stuff. William Sapphire, he did the moon landing speech. Well, I think he did the successful one, but he also did the failure one.
Yeah.
And
the failure one's an interesting one.
And it's pretty well written. He tries to put a positive spin on it, and he does a pretty good job, which is impressive. But I think it's William Sapphire. I think that was his name.
Not William Shepard?
No, Sapphire. Definitely Sapphire.
Yeah.
No, I remember because he has a cool name.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like, see, and even my like saying I want to talk about Socrates' speech, I don't think I represented it very well, but it's just so compelling to me that I had to mention it somehow.
Yeah.
And I think I think this stuff has been figured out for the most part, really. It's just like, if you look, all you have to do is be Aragon, or all you have to do is be I don't know, Hercules, maybe not Hercules, Theseus. Theseus is a good one. Like, if you just choose like heroes from stories, Superman, just like, that's all you have to do is like be like, what would Jesus do? Like, that's
What would Jesus
those
do?
bracelets, they're great because it's like you don't need a philosophy as long as you understand the character of Jesus, and I think most people do understand the character of Jesus, or most people do understand the character of like Socrates, or
what would Buddha do?
Plato. What would Buddha do?
Kill himself. He just met Buddha.
Yeah.
You are listening to The Fool and the Philosopher. Now I'm going to shill for Vindsvept because he's really cool, he writes really good music, and he's the music we mostly use. We also have a little bit of Adrian-von Ziegler right at the beginning, that Into the Sun song, our intro, but most of it is Vindsvept. He's just awesome, so check him out. Anyways, back to the podcast.
So I had a question to wrap us off, let's say.
Yep.
Right, so I don't know how to. It's a bit weird one to phrase, so I'll just bear with me a little bit. But
Are you a pineapple?
So, which historical figure
Yeah.
do you think you are, and which historical figure do you think the other person is? So me.
Yeah.
And I think both of us should answer for ourselves and the other, and do them like one at a time,
Alright.
maybe, or something. So like we do you first.
Alright.
So we'd be like, who do we think you are? Like, who do I think? Which historical figure do I think you most likely to be? Like a real, like imagine reincarnation is real. Which one do you think is like most likely?
I think I should first start with who I think I am, so I don't influence whatever you're going to say.
Well, I already have answers for both of them.
Yeah,
so.
but I'm saying like I should just start so you don't influence me.
Right. So maybe you
Who
should
I
do
think.
both of them even, because I have. Or maybe we should just do you. And,
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's just do you again, because it won't influence yours of me, I think, right?
So who do I think I am?
Which historical figure do you think you are?
Well, I'd really like to be Marcus Aurelius, but I don't think I'm that good.
Right?
Like,
Who do you think you are most like? Like who?
Well, it's hard because I
Who do you share a spiritual connection with, or a bond?
Well, I actually think I really do share a connection with Marcus Aurelius, just in my goals of uniting Rome and keeping it solid and wanting the best for it. And I'm sick, and my son's going to ruin everything I leave behind after me, and my wife's going to die.
Okay, so you think Marcus Aurelius?
Yeah.
Okay, why? Like, what makes you like a Marcus Aurelius?
Because he stood for the truth, both capital T and italics. His rule, there was almost no state secrets in Rome.
Yeah.
Because he hated them. And there are some...
So do you see yourself as a ruler?
I don't see myself as a ruler. It's more... He was a...
So if you're a proponent of truth, maybe Socrates is closer.
But also Marcus Aurelius, he wanted to be the best he could be every single day, and he saw the best in other people. And he was an optimist. Like, man, he was an optimist.
Whereas you hate people that like make their dogs call.
I find it a little annoying.
Do you consider yourself optimistic?
I think I'm optimist. I think I'm quite optimist compared to a lot of people.
I read something that an optimist thinks the world is as good as it can possibly be, and a pessimist fears that that is true.
I think the world can be better. I think it will be better. I think it's pretty great, but I think it'll be better.
Right.
And I want to try to help make it a little better. And what I can do. I also want to live my life as it's my own.
Yeah. It's lofty aspirations.
Yeah.
Alexander in a previous... sorry, that was mine for you. I was thinking Alexander the Great.
Where's that rope? I'm going to cut with a sword. Alright, everyone. So, I just killed your leaders and half your army. But there's guys even further to the east that I want to kill as well. And we're going to take their stuff. So, do you want to come with me?
Well,
we're just going to keep going until we hit the sea.
You know, like, ridiculous confidence and, like...
ridiculous confidence.
Trying to brute force your way through things. Like,
what do you mean brute force my way through things?
Like, you know, taking, like, the I don't know, like, it's a bit of...
No flowery words needed.
You go straight to the solution a lot of the time.
Yeah, there's no point dancing around it.
Like... But only as it's pertinent. Like, for example, we're doing this podcast now instead of at a time when would have been more reasonable, perhaps, because the solution is to do things when you suddenly need to do them, rather than so you don't need to do them ever.
I wanted to plan ahead of time. I just kept messing up.
Yeah, and you know, you needed to get your driver's license renewed when you've been driving around with it for a little while without it being renewed.
I didn't realize it was expired.
And there's a few things they add up. It's like,
this is just recent stuff.
Well, no, it goes back. I could do more. I just, you know, direct solutions, and then, like, you know, very successful at what he chooses to set his mind to, and I think you tend to be, and when you get to
see how this podcast is doing,
and you get to the end of the world, and there are no worlds left to conquer, and you know, you just, like, crash and, like, devote yourself to, like, recommended feed or whatever. That's what killed Alexander. But yeah, I don't know. He seemed like the rash young youth, successful but incautious.
Maybe he shouldn't have said you. Oh, I feel almost slightly offended by Alexander.
Well, I don't know. I think he is probably the, you know, he could be considered like one of the most self-fulfilled people on Earth, like, who have ever lived.
He was a brute and a barbarian,
and he
incredibly violent.
He got the job done. Yeah, you're making my case stronger, I think. You know.
Okay.
So yeah, for me, right? So should you go first again, I guess?
Yeah, I should go first, but
Sartre. You just have to think of, like, you just... Wormtongue. Was he a historical character? Wormtongue.
Goalposts.
Yeah, there you go. Let's try to think of like a bad one. That's about as bad as it gets. It's close.
Stalin and Mao together.
Yeah.
No. Well, you're very, very, very self-righteous. You're incredibly self-righteous, and you're very no nonsense. Like you're not going to like do the social like, oh, this is what's required.
Richard the Lion-Hearted. They'll take back the Holy Land.
Well, it's not
That is
even,
mine by divine right.
it's not even that. It's like, oh, you need to spend time with your family. It's just you have to have loyalty to your family. You have to do it. It's like, no, I spend time with my family because I want to.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this out of some stupid loyalty thing you said. I'm going to do this because I want to.
Right.
And you're very, very much like that. And I'm not sure who's like that. Like, I'm tempted to say, like, Kant, in a way, like, or Julius Caesar, like, very had his mind made up of what he wanted to do. Like, that was Julius Caesar. Like, he knew what he wanted to do. Yeah, it's, Queen Victoria, actually.
I don't know. She was very like.
She didn't care about the royal stuff. She did what she wanted.
Well, no, she believed in herself very strongly. I don't know if I do. I think I'm very willing to. Like the next book I read will completely change my philosophy. Right? That's how.
Yeah. The next book you read.
Well, no, I don't know. I think I've like. I don't know. I'm not. I don't want to claim I'm consistent, but I do.
William Shakespeare. No, that's so little about him. It's absurd how little we know about him. Considering how much he did.
I know a lot of things about him. I was him.
I
was there.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about historical figures as well. Like personally, like I know about events and stuff, and I know about more recent people. Like one could go for like Martin Luther. Like I want things to be this way because it's the right thing.
Right, like
I have a dream.
Oh, Martin Luther Jr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah.
Not the
Actually,
original.
Martin Luther though, like.
Yeah, I don't know if I could be as brave as Martin Luther. I would hope I could be, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm like reflect like almost even Martin Luther King Jr. Like you what you believe in, you believe in. You're not going to like let other people tell you.
I didn't want to bring up the I have a dream thing again.
I have a dream. Like he probably joked too. When people tell jokes.
Yeah. Well, he was a preacher, I believe.
Yeah.
He was, preachers are good with people.
Yeah.
I was thinking for myself like Louis the 14th. No.
So you could be the Sun King. You want people wiping your ass for you?
Yeah, and like I don't know, it's just like it's not really who I am, but it's who I want to be, and so who I imagine like my soul is. Like
so like for me, saying like Marcus Aurelius.
I've always wanted. Well, no, it's more like I believe I have that at my soul. Like I've always wanted to be a dandy. I just never had the time, and like.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting thing.
I don't know how one becomes a dandy.
Because, like, I've had at times in my life where it's like, okay, I want to do this. Like, I want to do whatever I'm doing at the moment or whatever. Like, this is, like, I have a bit of a plan of what I want to do. But then it's like, I also, like, sometimes I just want to be like, I just want to stand up and speak for what is right. But other people are doing that, and they're doing a really good job.
Well, I don't know if they are. I don't think you should. Like, I think that...
But I don't think... Well, one, I don't think I know enough.
I don't... Well, this...
I don't...
Yeah, you don't.
I don't... Yeah, like, I don't think I know enough.
You don't know anything.
And I'd rather do something...
Like, what kind of, like... How full of yourself do you have to be to think you can stand up for, like
justice and
rights and like...
Yeah.
What makes you think you have the solution to fixing the world? Can you even, like... tie your shoes? Can you keep your room clean? Do you know how to cook? Like take care of yourself first, and then if you have stuff left over, then I mean, why? Like you don't, you shouldn't. Like there's always more to improve. You're a mess.
Yeah.
Like
So only listening to Jordan Peterson.
No, actually, it's just
That's just what he says, though.
yeah. Well, it's just because it's
True.
when you follow a certain set of principles, you come to the conclusion that people are messes, and they like anyone, like we talked about, anyone that wants to be a politician, like you're insane,
Yeah.
and like Socrates, right? You can't be a politician and an honest man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like you can't be true to yourself because like you need people. Like that's why Louis XIV needed people wiping his butt because he was too busy trying to be a king.
Yeah. Well, here's like
And also, he was brilliant beyond belief. I think he is one of the most brilliant people to have ever lived, if not the most brilliant.
the whole thing, like Socrates, you can't be a politician, an honest man. Like, so Socrates, I mean, he was brilliant and
Politically brilliant,
Yeah,
anyways.
but he was a politician.
Yeah.
But he also wanted to be honest,
Yeah.
and he really tried for that. And so for me, like, if I tried to be a politician, I'd be terrible at it in the sense of what people expect politicians to be.
Maybe, because I don't think politicians think they lie. I think you always do stuff to favor yourself, right? So you'll always think that it's someone else's fault or you blame them for your mistakes. Or not even your mistakes, it's just there's a mutual thing that happened and it's their fault. Like, for example...
I have a really hard time blaming anyone but myself.
Well, for example, let's say like Smash Bros is not fun because someone is like maneuvering a lot and jumping a lot and trying to...
I am more mad with myself that I can't deal with it, but I am letting out that frustration on the world around me.
Yeah,
But I can recognize that.
But you don't necessarily express that to others. And so I think politicians a lot of the time, if you sat down and talked with them, they'd be quite good people who are trying their very best and trying to be honest and trying to be decent. Mm-hmm. But the world, you compromise a little bit here and you compromise a little bit there and you compromise, and before you know it, you're compromised.
Before you know it, you're doing cocaine and...
Well, no, you're
selling your soul to a big corporation that kills kittens for fun.
It's just... Yeah, Evil Corp just like knocks on your door and you slip a little bit every day and no, like you just get caught up in it. You do something without thinking about it and then it's too late to go back and you've wandered so far in blood that it says
far back as it,
it's far back to go, like whatever Shakespeare said.
Like I've come so far and well, it's murdering everyone and I've killed so many people that I'm halfway through all the blood basically.
I've waded so far in blood it's as far to go back as it is to go forward kind of thing. But it's not even that. You don't even think that. It's more like, oh well, I've made a couple mistakes, but I don't make them in the future. I'll just keep going, and then you make another mistake, and you keep going. I'll make another, and it's okay. That won't happen again. And I think everyone does it, but you're in the public eye.
Yeah.
And it's very. If you're true to yourself, you end up getting executed in basically any country on earth, because people are afraid of
the truth.
See, that's such an easy thing to say.
Yeah.
Like, you hear that all the time, but the people that say it are sometimes the same ones that'd be up there executing you.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That doesn't mean it's not true, though. I think people... It's not the truth that they're afraid of, but they're afraid of people speaking their truth. They're afraid of... Like, if I said something like... Well, see, I don't even want to say it, because, like, it's not even stuff I believe necessarily, just as an example, but there's some really dark stuff that people believe and they're afraid to say because of society and they would be like very least publicly shouted at for saying it, even if it's not that bad. Like you could say something like, well, there's like obviously tame examples like I'm against immigration or something, or I think illegal immigrants shouldn't be allowed in the country, something like that, let's say. And I'm not saying I agree or disagree with that statement, but that is a statement that people tend to react very viscerally to.
I figured out who you are. You're that poet who wrote the "I'm the captain of my ship, the wire of my soul." Because
I think God something for my unconquerable soul.
Well, yeah. If you read about
he lost his leg.
He had a lot of bad stuff.
And he's in constant pain. And
Yeah.
that dude's awesome.
Yeah, but no, that's why. Like, you are very much trying to like keep yourself in control.
All right. I got it. I got my own back.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like.
I appreciate the compliment. I think it's a compliment. I don't know if it's a compliment necessarily.
Well, it doesn't have to. It can go both ways.
Yeah.
It's like I'm just saying, like, if you want to say like that.
I think someone like Kant might have fetishized control, like
yeah,
and fetishized as in worshipped.
Fetishizes what what meant to mean and not what it's become.
Well, it's the same meaning. It's
Yeah.
just you can use it in different ways.
Yeah.
And I think, like, Change My Life, this book called Fafnir and the Grey Mouser, where at one point he says, the vows made as a young man were there to help you, but when they no longer help you, you should no longer keep to them, because the only purpose of a vow is to guide you. And I think, it's like, yeah, you can make a vow, but you, and you have to be honest, but if you make a vow like something like, I will only watch 5 YouTube videos a day or something, that is an idea that you think is helpful for you now. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean it'll be helpful in the future. And you could be wrong, and you must always be ready to accept that you're wrong. And if you just stick to the 5 forever because that's what you said, then you're just worshipping your vows instead of understanding the meaning behind
tyrant.
it. You're looking at the finger instead of the moon.
Yeah, it's become a tyrant.
Yeah.
It's no longer a vow. It's no longer a road. It's a pit.
Yeah, who wrote Invictus? But yeah, well, I guess, I don't know. It's our chance to self-indulge. I mean, it's your podcast. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
But definitely sometimes, I don't know, like, if you compare people to historical figures, I don't know if that's indulgent, because if historical figures have their flaws as well.
Yeah, well, getting compared to Alexander, it's like, not what I was expecting.
Well, I mean, with like, well, you know it as well. With games, you get very extreme about them, and you get very passionate, and like the slightest setbacks hurt you, and the slightest victories make you go all, I'm clever, and like there's very much like, and you tend to win, and so I think Alexander, I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm trying to go away from that. Yeah. I'm trying not to be Alexander.
No, Alexander died before he could change who he was, so who knows?
Yeah.
Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. That is William Ernest Heinley.
Yeah.
And so when he was 16 years old, his left leg was amputated because of tuberculosis.
Yeah.
And then he had problems with his other leg. He was told it would require a similar procedure. Instead, he went to a surgeon who saved his leg by doing a bunch of surgery on his foot. And while he was recovering in the infirmary, he wrote Invictus.
Yeah.
And so he lost a leg and almost 2, and it was really unfair.
Yeah.
And he
wrote my favorite poem.
Yeah, it's
or one of my favorite poems. I really like that one. I also really like the If poem.
I find If, the older I get and as it goes on, it really
It's impossible.
No, I feel like I'm going through the poem one step at a time. And it's like, if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, I think I can do that.
Yeah.
If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, I think I've learned that. Mm-hmm. If you can wait and not be made tired by waiting, being lied about, don't deal in lies. I'm not there yet. Like, waiting is so hard.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know, at the rate I'm going, that's like, I've only made it to line 2 of like 40 lines or something in like 20, almost 24 years. Like, I don't have enough time to get through this whole poem.
You can't cheat the running one.
You can fill you just have to watch recommended videos and then
the running one of if you can run for a whole minute.
No, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run.
Yeah.
That means if you can basically use all your time. So
you just sell your soul to the YouTube recommendation.
And it's like, and you think you know these things, I think, but then also you go back and you're like, wow, I didn't actually learn this. Like, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, oh yeah, I can do it. And then it's like, wow, no, waiting, it's hard. And maybe it's, and like, if you can be hated and not give way to hating, I mean, I haven't been put to the test, but I'm worried because it seems like I'm getting tested in order, and I don't know, it's like, I don't know how Rudyard Kipling knew so much about life to write that poem. Like that's like the advice you want from your father. Like you want him to sit you down one day and like, like you're
remember
and
that
be like, right, son, I'm gonna tell you how to be a man. If you can do it, and then he said, like it's like fatherly advice, and it's so amazing and perfect. And
remember that thing you said? Like you said this a while ago. I think we said it before, but it's like I don't think I can be Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah,
but I think I could be like his dad or try to be.
I hope to be his father. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope to be his father. Like that. Like I feel like I'm still at the point where like I hope to be Marcus Aurelius. I'm still trying. I'm still trying my best.
I don't know. It's like everything has to align. He had great parents. He had
great teachers, great friends.
Great friends.
Yeah, those slaves were really good teachers.
The Roman slavery was
a
bit different.
Teachers was different as well.
But
yeah.
I don't know. They're still slaves. But it's better to. Is it? Well, I don't know. It's easy to say you'd rather be free than a slave, but the Roman slaves were fairly free, and when it comes down to it, I don't know. Don't sell your life for nothing. I think.
Yeah.
If there's a cause worth dying for, die for it, and that I don't know if I can do that, but I hope I guess I hope I can.
You are listening to The Fool and the Philosopher. Just change up the tone of the whole thing, and then it will go back to dark, depressing, and murmur voice.
I have this rule, right, where it's like, or not a rule, it's like, I have a rule. It's like, if I become a spy, I will be caught. If I go to war, I will be shot. If, like, you can think...
If I speak out, I'll be silenced.
Yeah, like, you can think you're invincible, but you're not. Whoa. Keep right. If I become a spy... Ooh, that's an term. I will be caught. If I go to war, I will be shot. I think maybe it should be a you. If you go to war, yeah, you think you're
History and making books.
Invincible, but you're not. That was not intended to rhyme in the slightest. Like it.
If you speak up, you'll be stopped. If you... What's the rhymes of stopped?
But it's like you're not the one in a million. Like, well, you are, and because then every time you fail, you're surprised and it destroys you. The unexpected blindsides you, and it turns your world upside down, and the future you've built for yourself crumbles, and you hurt yourself.
1 in a million messes up, though. You just have to recognize that.
Like, if you see a lot of, I don't know, let's say car accidents where people are angry, and they're angry because they thought they were a driver that couldn't get a crash, and they're angry at themselves, and they're angry because their structure of the world is gone. But if they think, if I drive, I will crash or I will die, then then you expect it. Whereas if you think you are the one who will be the one that escapes, then you will almost always be wrong, and you're not gonna make it. Like,
Well, you know how to not get shot in war, right? You write your name on a bullet, and you have the bullet with your name on it.
Yeah. Or if you see watching like Smash Bros tournaments, you'll see the people who taunt the most also tend to be the people who are the most upset when they lose, and it's because they think they are the ones who cannot lose. I think, like, they like there's like a player named Captain Zach, I believe, and I just can't stand him. Like I because he taunts a lot, and okay, look, I can't stand him. Maybe he's too strong. I don't know.
I just can't stand him.
I don't know the guy, but he taunts a lot. He acts very flamboyant and like, haha, like I'm so.
Is this your like can't stand?
No, but then when he loses, he'll rage quit when he falls behind a stock and stuff like that. Like he did that, and it just doesn't look good. And another player called Mars, he's amazing to watch, and he's just plays beautifully. But one time he was losing and he just like surrendered and left. And I don't know if he's a poor sport or not, but he was definitely at that point like annoyed. You look at someone like Esam, who's one of the best players there is there, and he lost to like this 15-year-old kid, and he like shook the kid's hand. He's like, wow, awesome, amazing. And like Esam, Esam will celebrate big, but he also is like,
He celebrates everyone big.
yeah, like if you beat him, he's like, yeah, and if he wins, he's like, yeah. And
Yeah, if someone was a winner, someone wasn't a loser, someone was a winner.
because the worst mix is people that are poor winners and poor losers.
Yeah.
If someone's a poor loser but like a neutral winner, you can sort of forgive them because you're like, okay, they lost it's a lot to them. Or if someone's like a poor winner, but when they lose, they take it with good grace, then you're like, okay. And then there's like Esam, he's a good winner and a good well, Esam, you could almost say is a poor winner, but he's just like, he's super hyped for himself when he wins, but he's also super hyped for like the others when he loses.
Well, I think a lesson that I learned from a Zen comic or just some Zen saying, which helped make it so I could play board games with you and games in general, is when you're playing a game, you can look at if you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. You can also look at, very twistedly, if you win, someone else lost, or if you lost, you lost. And there's people like that. Or there's a third one, which is if you win, you win. And if you lose, someone else won. So there's always a winner.
Yeah. I still wonder if that's missing the point of board games. Like, it's a bit...
Well, it's not, it's just a part of the, it's not like, that's not the whole idea of board games. Don't get me wrong.
Because I think the point is the social interaction. I don't think who wins or loses is in the slightest bit relevant. Like,
Alright, but...
if everyone lost, don't really care, or if everyone won, like...
Well, some people are different than you, and some people have different ideas, and they have to look at it a different way sometimes to get through it, because some people are playing it to win or to lose.
Yeah, I don't think they're playing then.
Right. Anyways, you can still view things like that. Like, if you're, let's say, in the Dota tournament, okay, for whatever, you're in a TI 9, right? And you're in the final match. That is, like, if you win, that's several $1 million you get.
But they're not playing, they're competing.
Yeah, well, it's fine. In competition, then, you can even look at it like that, though. Like,
Yeah,
someone else got several million.
It's
like,
kind of defeatist, though. I don't know, like, I think you should support yourself.
You can support yourself when you win. And you're like, oh, I did a really good job in this game, but they won as well.
Yeah.
And that's great for them, too. Like, it's the sort of thing, like, you lose a basketball game to, like, hit someone else's team, and so you get silver, they get gold. You hug them because it was a great game.
Yeah, but you hug them because it was a great game, not because they won, I think. Because, I don't know, it's very
No! It is the psychological thing to get you to the point where you can start having fun as it just as a game. You can't go one step to the other if people live in a game. Because I'm a younger brother, you're an older brother. I saw a lot of things as competition. I had to beat you to prove myself because you were far more experienced in a lot of things, a lot bigger, a lot faster. So if I beat you, that was really, really good for me in my self-status wise, because I just beat someone who's like twice as old as me, twice as strong as me, twice as fast through some means or another. And so that's what I start with. And then I have to go to the, okay, like someone's always a winner. And then I can go to, okay, it's fun. You can't just go, no, it's just about having fun. You have to take every single step along the way if you're not starting from the right point.
Yeah, I guess what I'm thinking is it's like, imagine you want to get down a road, right? Let's say the road goes north. You want to head north.
Yeah.
And you've been on a road that heads east. Taking 3 steps to the right on the eastern road isn't going to put you on the northern road. You're on the wrong road.
Well, I think you're not understanding what I'm saying, but that's fine.
I think, like, no, it's like...
You're not trying to get a little bit of victory, you're celebrating a victory.
No, I don't think it's that you're trying to... No, I don't think it's healthy to celebrate someone else's victory. Or in a way, like, that's...
No, it is incredibly healthy to celebrate every victory, because it's a freaking victory. You can also realize what you did wrong, you can do better, but victories are things that should be celebrated. It's a cool thing.
But that's the thing, is that you care about the victory. If you can...
Why not? What? You're just like a soulless gray thing if you don't care about stuff.
If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those 2 imposters just the same. The victory isn't the goal. The victory isn't the game. The game is the game. And so no victory needs to be celebrated. The event is to be celebrated.
Then why is there winning and losing?
So that there's a game.
Okay, I'll accept that.
And
I see your point. I'll think on it.
so to celebrate someone else's victory, it's kind of like... It's like a better path on the wrong road. It's like, oh, no, this is what it's like. It's like there's a north road, and the north is where you want to go, and there's an east road. And... I'm
saying the people are still trying to get north, and they have to get there somehow.
Right, but they're on the east road.
Yeah, but you have to get there somehow.
Yeah,
you can't just teleport.
I'm not done. They're on the east road. And so instead of heading north, you take the path that keeps you out of the puddles. It's better, but it's missing the point. You want to go north.
No, it's more like you're going northeast instead of north.
No, because I don't think you're ever going to head north if you're just avoiding the puddles.
Look, you can't build a building without, like, building it up first. You have to get somewhere. You can't just have you can't have the roof. You need the walls. You need to build up.
Yes,
and
but
sometimes you don't have the start, right? You don't have the start.
But starting with the wrong blueprint isn't going to get you the house that you need.
No, but you've learned how to build a house, and so you can build the next one right. You learned what didn't work, and now you can learn how it works, and you figure things out better. And maybe,
if
you'll get stuck building wrong. You might get in the habit of doing it wrong, but you can also do it right.
If you want to sew a quilt and you're cooking an omelet, learning how to make a better omelet or how not
No,
to make a bad
you're going too far away.
No, I don't think I am.
I think you're separating too much.
No, I don't think I am. I think
you are.
I think that celebrating the victory of your opponent or yourself is so far removed from it that it's a totally different thing.
Well,
that it's
celebrating the game, though. Like, can't you just celebrate the game?
You can celebrate the game for sure, but I think that's totally removed from. If you celebrate your defeat or your opponent's victory,
right. Well, I think I'm.
If you say like "good job" to someone that's won, I think you can say "good job" as in you played beautifully, right? And I think that's a fair thing to say, right?
Yeah.
You're celebrating their victory, but in that sense, so if you call that celebrating your victory, then I agree with you. But celebrating your victory would be congratulations, you won, rather than congratulations, you won. Like,
I think we just have slightly different perspectives on it.
Or we're not.
I think I see victory as a different thing to you.
Well, that's why I'm trying to.
I see victory as a celebration of the game.
Yeah, and that's why I'm trying to define it.
So if you're saying victory isn't the celebration of the game, but it's just the celebration of winning, then I can understand what you're saying, but I see it as a celebration as a game.
So I would say, like, congratulations, you played beautifully, is different from congratulations,
I played terribly.
No, you are the winner and I am the loser, or you are the winner.
No, so a way to put it from my perspective, right, of what I was saying earlier, right, is, so you can go, okay, I played really well, right? Right? So if you won, you're like, I played really well. If you lose, I played terribly. Or you can go, I played really well, or you lose. They played really well.
Yeah, and so I think that's missing the point where in both cases, whether you win or lose, you played beautifully.
I'm not saying you didn't play well. I'm saying that they played really well. You can just both sides played well. I'm just saying that they played really well. I'm not saying that you didn't play well if they did play well.
In my mind, let's say you win and you say, I played very well.
Mm-hmm.
And they played very well. And then in the second case, you lose and you say, they played very well and I played very well.
Yeah.
It's the recognition of the beautiful game. No matter the winner or the loser. Both are beautiful players.
Well, I'm very much a beautiful person.
In the game.
Alright, well, I feel like we're at a slight impasse, and you want to end this, end the thought, and it's been about 20 to 30 minutes since then.
Yeah, but...
So, I think we'll leave it there.
If you like for now.
If you like for now. Is that a threat?
I think ideas
Need time.
need to be thunked about.
Yeah.
And I think...
In fact, I agree with you, but I don't want to detract from my earlier statements.
I don't think you should agree with me. I think unless we know what we're talking about.
Well, no, even what I was saying earlier of like, oh, you play a beautiful game. It's a beautiful game, I think, but what was the statement? I digress. Is that right?
Well, only if you do. I don't think you do.
Okay. I just like that statement. I digress.
Because it means that you move away from the topic and the...
I'm saying I think I have gotten where I want to go.
Right. So that's very different from digressing.
Yes. I fini. So, goodbye.
Alright. Bye.